and get this party started. Welcome, everybody, to episode 8 of Monday Night Rare, the weekly podcast where I have another growing streamer on with me, and we talk about Destiny, we talk about streaming, and we talk about life or anything that happens to come up. We've taken a couple weeks off. We are back now with a great guest. BrendenBambi joins me today, and he is a trial specialist. That's kind of the direction we're going to be taking Monday Night Rare for the foreseeable future, bringing on other great streamers who also do trials help for individuals. If you're looking to go to the Lighthouse, these are the folks that you're going to want to go and talk to. And again, tonight my guest is BrendenBambi. And if you're watching on YouTube, we'll have all the information for you in the information below. So make sure you check that out. But without any further ado, let me introduce you to BrendenBambi. BrendenBambi, how's it going, man?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
So, Brendan, why don't we go ahead and let everybody who's watching know a little bit about yourself. Let's start off with how long or when did you start streaming, and what got you into streaming?
I started streaming back in December. I kind of started a YouTube channel right around the same time. I just wanted to do something to do with Destiny. I love Destiny. I was a big Halo fan back in the day. And I had I just jumped off the map. I had a huge clan that was behind me that had come from Halo from way back in the day, and which is Total Dominance. And I wanted to start something with that on Destiny. So I made a YouTube, I made a Twitch, thinking that YouTube was going to be my big thing. And actually fell in love with streaming. So streaming ended up being my my direction that I went in instead of YouTube, which was kind of surprising.
Okay. So, I mean, what is it that you said, okay, this is the trials thing, that's kind of what I want to do as a streamer?
I mean, trials is just so competitive. I love the whole MLG scene back, in the days of Halo with, Triggers Down and, all those teams that were just so competitive and at each other all the time. They're always playing and just the tournaments and stuff and the hype around that. And Trials is just I can see how they might be able to do something with Trials, maybe almost to that level at some point in time in the future. Just the way it's set up. And I always just fell in love with that pressure. When I was playing Call of Duty, of course, search and destroy, there's just something about that one death game type that everyone seems to gravitate towards. But that's what ultimately led me to Trials, and then just being able to help people and getting that reaction, getting them so excited to go flawless and feel that that excitement myself, getting them there for the first time was just an amazing feeling.
So did you play? Have you been playing from the first week? I mean, what was the first from the first week, and you went flawless that first week and everything?
Oh yeah, I've been at Trials literally since day one. I just hit my 170th carry for year 2. That was last night. So since the Taken King dropped, and then my total flawless count, I think it's upwards of 80 something. I think it's approaching 100 right now. Nice,
very cool. And so, how many people do you think that you've taken to? Well, let me ask you this: what's your success rate for flawless carries?
For flawless carries, I mean, this past weekend's been pretty abysmal with everyone trying to get their rankings in the world back. But typically I run a little over a 2.0 KD or right around there with an 85% win rating. So I usually get, let's say we do 5 cards, usually 3 go flawless at least, if not more.
Fantastic.
But every now and then you find those teams are just stacked and the cards just drop and they're not in your favor. But
so let's talk about that. Why do you think that they went ahead and redid the ELO, causing what we're seeing this weekend?
Well, I mean, Guardian GG has already said that it's just a season, and they want to get into the habit of doing that, having multiple seasons. So I think it's just a kickstart. It's a refresher. It brings people back. It's obviously it annoys some people because a lot of people had high rank and they're kind of disappointed that it's no longer there. But it gives something for people to work towards. It's the top end of their ELO was a little bit bloated with a lot of boosting. A lot of people doing account recoveries and stuff with and Bungie even came out and had to kind of say some things about that because you're not actually playing the real people.
Sure.
It's not the same. So they had to kind of nip that in the bud and work on that. But no, I think it's going to be good in the end. It's going to help Trials have a new face, and it's going to be an improvement overall.
Sure. So let's talk a little bit about the shape of Destiny and how the most recent update really affected everything. How do you feel that? Do you feel it's been a positive or a negative update to Destiny as far as from a PvP perspective and as far as a competitive perspective for Trials?
I think honestly, I mean, the updates just added a little bit of longevity to Destiny. You know, we're still waiting on that big update that gives us raids and, you know, all that other stuff, but at least it's kind of tied us over until then. You know, the new light cap and everything else gives me a reason to go flawless. You know, typically I don't really bother with boons and stuff. I'm more so just trying to help people, but now it gives me a reason to, you know, strive to go flawless myself and try to get up there.
Sure.
Nice. I haven't had that in a long time.
Well, that's good. It's always good. But so what do you think has been the best change that they made, and what do you think is really
nerfing the thorn? No, I was a little bit too quick of a response. No, I don't know. I think that, you know, the thorn, like just the weapon tuning has been my favorite part. You know, they put meta kind of back to where it should be. High caliber rounds. I mean, that gun had literally 6 perks to it. It gave you third eye. It gave you better movement speed, better aiming, quick reload speed. You could, you know, and it gave you high caliber rounds on top of everything else. Like that's just insane to even think about. That is crazy. So I think that the fact that they nerfed that, they nerfed the doctrine slightly, but it's still usable. They didn't, you know, completely destroy it. I think that's one thing that I really noticed with this update is Bungie's learning better how to tune and like fine tune, in that they don't just nerf things into the ground.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like before in the past, we'd see them, you know, quote unquote nerf something, and instead of it just being a light nerf and making it still a usable gun, they would nerf it into the ground to where you just can't use it. It's just unusable. And I think they're getting a lot better at that, which is awesome to see.
You know, and this is, yeah, for sure. And before we kind of continue, let me say a couple things. Number one, I just realized that I did not change my audio playlist, so who knows how much of what we've already talked about. Hopefully, none of it has been muted by Twitch, but so that when I export it to YouTube. But anyway, so I mean, I'm sure it's fine. So what about, well, before I get to that, by the way, guys, those of you guys who are just joining me, this is the return of Monday Night Rare. I have my special guest, BrendenBambi, a Trials specialist, a Trials helper. You know, some people really don't like that term carry. What's kind of your view on that?
We've changed over. You know, when we started to really get into this and this became a weekly thing that I would do, I'd, you know, try to carry exactly and help as many people as possible. We prefer the word escort. We've decided on the word escort, that it's a Trials escort. I'm merely escorting you to the lighthouse, to the promised land. It's not a carry. You're still there. Right. You're still pulling the triggers. You're still shooting. You know, I would only call it a carry. I mean, if you're doing like account recoveries, maybe you could call it a carry, I guess. But I still think that you're there. You're still earning those stripes yourself. You know, you should get some credit.
Yeah, for sure. And again, guys, for those of you guys in the chat, if you have any questions for BrendenBambi, or for myself for that matter, make sure you post it in chat. Mods will help point it out to me if I do miss it. And welcome everybody. Again, I won't be interacting as much with chat as I normally do. But again, we are doing an interview segment with BrendenBambi here in a little bit. We will be switching over to Trials. We'll be running a card with him, and so you guys can see him in action. And again, make sure you hit up that multi-link that is being posted in chat, and also go over to BrendenBambi's channel and hit him up with a follow, as well as on Twitter. So, Brendan, let's switch it up a little bit, and let's talk a little bit about streaming. What are some of the challenges that you have found with streaming?
Some of the challenges, I mean, you gotta kind of find your niche. Like, you gotta kind of set up and build something that's very kind of true to yourself, obviously, because you have to be yourself, but you have to also, you know, think about what's going to be interesting, what's going to be exciting for people to watch, what's going to be, you know, what are people going to want to see. And no, I think it's, you know, it's hard to find that balance of, like, because you want to play as good as possible, which would involve you just being glued to the, you know, TV screen, but then at the same time you want to interact and like get to know everyone. You know, that's something that I really like doing, is getting to know as many people as possible and playing with, you know, countless others. And it's that's probably the toughest thing, I think, for me, is trying to balance that, like, that urge to just be uber competitive and glue myself, and then my urge to want to socialize and talk to everyone.
Oh, for sure. For sure. So, I mean, like, what has been like? What has the growth been? I mean, because one of the things that I mean, so tell me again. When did you start? How long have you been streaming now?
I've been streaming since I hardcore decided to start up a stream and start doing it regularly, more than just once in a blue moon.
Sure.
In December.
In December. Okay, and you've had a pretty good steady growth. But has there been any of that mental game to seeing how? To me, one of the hardest things to do as a streamer is to not compare yourself to other streamers and seeing their success. Because I've certainly seen people that have, since I become a streamer, who have had a lot faster growth than I have, and I don't hold any resentment. But there is that little bit in your back of your mind, like, what am I doing wrong? Have you ever had to struggle at all with that at all?
I think honestly, I mean, everybody does. Everybody's streaming, like, how can I improve? How can I do better? But I think Goth, King Ithalian, nailed it the best. I think somebody asked him that in the stream one time, and it's the best way I've ever heard it put. He said that you just have to accept that everything is out of your control.
Sure.
He said that viewer counts, out of your control. Whether people check you out, out of your control. Whether people follow, out of your control. Whether people come back, out of your control. Everything is out of your control. You just have to keep being you. Keep doing what you're doing. And I mean, obviously, if you notice that something could be different or could be changed, you make that own personal change. But other than that, you just got to keep plugging on. Yeah,
for sure. And one thing that I noticed, like when I first found your stream, and I just sat and lurked. I didn't really say anything because I'm kind of the type that I will lurk and chat most of the time. Most of the time when I'm in a chat, unless I really know somebody or have a reason to, I really don't talk a whole lot. I do a lot of lurking, but one of the things that really kept me in your chat was just your calm demeanor. It's very friendly, very a very positive, person. I mean, and that's what kind of kept me in there, and that's what I really liked about your stream. What is it? I mean, being a trial streamer, with the stresses and the frustrations that can kind of come along with that, how do you? Is there anything that you do specifically that kind of helps you stay in that positive and calm mindset?
Yeah, I think you just have to, like, I mean, I got a little heated even the other day, and I had a conversation with Koo actually about this later, but that was weird for me, and I let it, it was just, I think the fact that I hadn't been flawless, and everybody was playing on Friday, it was so tough. We went like 6 cards, because I was trying to get, carries and helping people, and just stack team after stack team after stack team that was, playing on Friday. It was just getting to me. But you have to just remember, at the end of the day, like, worst comes to worst, you're just going to grab another card. You know what I mean? You're just going to grab another card and you're just going to try again. And it's really just time. That's all it is, and you're at the end of the day, you're playing a game, you're enjoying yourself doing it. And if you just take it round by round, one thing I do a lot is I look back on myself. When it comes to the end of the game,
sure.
I like to talk about what I could have done better as opposed to anyone else. You know what I mean? What could I have changed? What could I have possibly, could I have run one way differently, or use the super somehow differently, or challenged a little bit earlier. These are things that I think about, and that's I think what gets me through, because I'm just thinking about, okay, so next game I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean? Next game's going to be better. It's always it's always a silver lining.
Sure. So let's talk a little bit about that. Like, what do you attribute to your success as a competitive first-person shooter gamer? Like, what has really made the difference for you as far as getting better is concerned?
I mean, as far as getting better, you can always improve your equipment to an extent. You can get a monitor, which helps with your your screen. Obviously, is not going to be as delayed. You can get that 1 millisecond response time. So that's a good way to go. And once you've done that, then obviously there's controllers you can get, SCUF controllers for the PlayStation, Elite controllers for the Xbox. Those really help your game as well. But then it's just practice. At the end of the day, you just keep playing, keep running cards, keep playing with better people if you can. If you can play against, not even with, if you can play against better people, that's going to infinitely improve your game, because you're going to have to step it up every time. You're not going to get that that easy walk in the park. Oh, I don't even have to try. You're going to have to keep testing yourself.
Okay. So what would be the first thing, as far as just like simple tips, aside from, this, the obvious, just play more and whatnot. What would be like some small tips that you would give a newer, a player that's maybe trying to get better and, trying to improve themselves? What are some of the small things that help you do what you do?
So small things as far as like, as far as like trials goes, there's just little strategies and stuff that you learn. One thing that I talk to people a lot about is that, reviving is not always the answer. You'll hear me preach about that a lot. And I like to coach people if I can, and like,
sure.
Give them some tips and stuff kind of as we're playing. But unless let's say you go down, it's 2-on-1, let's say on your side, you have two people, they have one. Unless the res is on the way to the guy that you're going towards, to the guy you're trying to take out, never go for the res, because you have two people on his one. You run away to try to get a res, now you're leaving your partner one-on-one. Chance of him taking out that one guy and going back and getting his teammate, and worst case scenario, making it a 2-on-1 the other way around,
sure,
is pretty high. So that's one of the big things. Like if I could talk about tips, that would be the biggest thing that I talk about on my stream, is that, everyone, the second one person goes down on your team, they're always like, oh, get my res. That's the biggest thing that I see people do, is they just get panicked. And it's like, no, you gotta think strategically. Maybe it's not the best idea to go grab his res right now. Maybe I should push this advantage of this 2-on-1 or even a 2-on-2 and, keep ourselves in the game. Okay.
So, by the way, guys, for those of you guys that are just tuning in, we are talking to BrendenBambi, another great Trials streamer. We are Monday Night Rare, the return of Monday Night Rare, on episode 8 tonight. Again, if you miss any of tonight's show, make sure you check out YouTube tomorrow. We'll be posting it on YouTube, and you'll be able to find a link on my Twitter after I post that up. So yeah, like generally speaking, so you think that the biggest mistake, would you say that then with people that are inexperienced is just worrying about just that res then, huh?
Yeah, just the people panic. The second they lose a teammate, they think the world is ending, and they'll try to run and just drop everything. Like even if you have like a good position on a map or some good pressure, you'll drop everything and just try to get back from them. And you'll sometimes, you'll end up screwing that round over by letting the other team then have an advantage and come back, when it's just sometimes better to collapse. You'll hear me say that a lot on my stream too. Collapse like a house of cards and just bring the pressure, not let them come back.
For sure. So what would be what's your mindset when you are the last one alive? What ends up being your mindset to try to get back in the match, maybe pull that clutch? Say you are down 3-1. How do you find it to make those clutch plays? I mean, is there anything that like mentally?
Mentally, in order to make it mentally easier to chew and bite off, I try to think of it as 3 1v1s. So if you can back off on the map as far as you can, get some nice distance between them, and get because typically people like to cover reses and stuff, they'll like to sit back. They won't all rush at you. I mean, some really good teams with good strategy and stuff will all just collapse on you, and there's not a whole lot you can do with 3 people, barreling down on you.
Sure.
But if you do get lucky and one of them, feels a little bit lucky on you, being that he's 3-on-1, you can sometimes, what I call is just, making it a 3-on-1 is you just drop all the way back to the end of the map, let the first guy come at you, then you take him out, make it a 2-on-1, let the next guy come at you, make it a 1-on-1, and then, just keep kind of going through their ranks. Because if you try to push into them, or if you try to take them all on 3-on-1, it's never going to end well. Sure.
So let's talk a little bit about what do you do when it's not Trials Day? Like what's your schedule like when it's during the week? Tuesday through Thursday. What do you keep yourself busy doing?
I like to help people with raids, honestly. I mean, I don't. I wouldn't say that I'm as proficient when it comes to knowing all the cheeses and the spots for raids, because PvP is definitely one of my big focuses. But sure. I do a lot of raiding as well through the week. Helping people with PoE and stuff has been big this week as well. Not that PoE is all that difficult at the moment, but it's definitely nice to help people that are either new to the game and stuff. If they need help on a first completion or something, I'm always there to help with that kind of stuff.
Okay, that's cool. So let's talk about what's your favorite weapon to use? I mean, not necessarily the one that you use all the way in Trials, but Like, what's your favorite weapon in Destiny right now?
I mean, my favorite archetype has always been pulse rifles. Always been pulse rifles, just because of my background. Just because I came from Halo and the BR was always king.
Sure.
Back in the day, and yeah, I picked up a pulse rifle in Destiny, and it felt very reminiscent of my BR, and I was like, yeah, this is gonna be a nice partnership. This is gonna be a good thing.
Oh man, I just got sniped right out of the freaking air.
I tethered everybody on B, by the way, guys.
Oh man, I was gonna go in and smash that dude or smash them in there, but I got snipped out of the air as this is going in there. But so what about? Okay, so are you more of a sniping player or more shotgun?
I'm typically more of a rush, and I mean I like that. You can ask anybody on the stream. I like to change it up a lot. I was running sidearms for the longest time, for a bunch of weeks, kind of consistently. And then I've been just kind of changing up lately. I mean, I've been running this Hunter, which is completely new to me. I'm normally on a Warlock. But my good friend Koo, who we're playing with right now, was kind of in my ear, telling me I should try to get good with a Night Stalker, try to get good with Shade Step. Because if competitive Destiny does ever become a thing, then you can only have one of each class, let alone subclass, but one of each class, and he would want to be the Warlock. So he's been trying to get me to get into my Hunter. And it's been going good so far. Oh, that's Blade Dance. Oh, I almost had him. He's weak.
Oh my god.
I got him. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's been nice. I mean, I don't know, like changing classes and changing subclasses like that definitely keeps Destiny fresh. Like I was, it starts to get stale at all. That's why I recommend people do too. Just try something completely out of your usual, out of the box, and you'll have a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree. That's why, like, I used to always play Hunter in Crucible, and then like for trials when I would play with people, I'd always play with my Warlock, because I figure, well, that way if I screw up, at least I'll have that that little second that second chance button, right?
The reset button.
Yeah, the reset button. And so now though, like right now I'm having so much fun with my Titan. It's, I mean, unbelievably fun, with the Twilight Garrison and just the speed of it. It's just going to just run around, shoulder charge. I mean, there's so many moments where, and people in my chat can definitely can attest to the fact that I'll just sit running around just laughing when I'm running on my Titan, because it's just so funny, seeing the different things you can pull off with that Twilight Garrison. It's such a fun armor piece to run. I just wish there was an equivalent on all characters. I mean, I know like Shade Step's similar, but you really don't have that for you really don't have that for the Warlock. So
no, yeah. Exactly. The Warlock doesn't. He kind of gets left out in the cold.
Yeah, Warlock is such a slow class for me. It almost drives me nuts. Yeah, you just should let me shoot you there. That's cool. So that's what I love about like doing this Monday Night Rare, guys, is that we just get to sit there and chill, have fun, and just shoot things mindlessly. Of course, coming up here in a little bit, we will switch over to trials and run the cards. So. Eyes on the chat. We kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but when we kind of go back to that, what do you think that could happen to improve trials?
To improve trials, I'd almost want to see, and I know I get a lot of trouble for this, but I'd almost want to see an Inferno variant.
Okay.
Just to make it that little bit more competitive. No radar, no heavy round, and it's been a while since I've had something like that would just be that competitive. I mean, I try to play some Inferno playlists and stuff when they come out through the week, but I just think an Inferno trials would be fun if they did that for a week. I think that'd be fun. I think a lot of people would enjoy it, even though they're maybe initially they'd protest a little bit and not play, but I think they'd enjoy it in the end.
Oh yeah, I think it'd definitely be interesting. By the way, my Norwegian queen, Princess Frida, says hello, Brendan.
Yeah, I've hosted Frida. I know her very well. She's a great streamer.
Yeah, I was talking about that because I'm Norwegian by descent, so.
Are you really?
Yep, by descent. Yeah, all my grandparents, with some small exception, are from Norway. They all came over from Norway, so. My great grandparents did, so yeah. So always talking that she's not a princess to me. She's my Norwegian queen, so. She's my queen. Anyway, I'm just her lowly Viking. Anyway, enough about that.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, dual fusions. Wait, what? Evil Aura? I don't know what he's talking about. But so aside from Trials, what's some of your favorite Crucible variants?
Favorite Crucible, anything that's not Mayhem. I like to stay as far away from Mayhem as possible. But no, I mean, I like Rumble. My favorite, honestly, just standard Crucible variant would be Rift. I love like any kind of objective playlist. So Rift is like the closest thing to kind of capture the flag that we have in Destiny. And yeah, I'm a big Rift fan. I was 160 in the world for Rift at the end of last season.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, it's been a lot of fun playing Rift with the guys and stuff.
So what would you say? What's your favorite loadout then right now? I mean, as far as like, we talked about you like pulse rifles, but what pulse rifle are you running right now?
I'm running the Hawksaw actually, and it's the old vendor roll. So unfortunately, you guys can't pick one of these bad boys up. But if you were fortunate enough to grab one beforehand, high caliber rounds, secret round, and small bore is a nasty combo. Nasty combo. You throw a lot of bullets in a short period of time, and it's staggering your opponent due to those high caliber rounds. And actually, Wish You Luck, who, yeah, I'm sure a lot of people know who that is. Partner Destiny streamer, really big fan of this very same Hawksaw. But yeah, shout out to Wish You Luck for turning me onto this gun. But
yeah, see, I've always really liked, and I can put it on there. I've always really liked my Ceros PDX. And I have a couple different variants of this gun, but you can kind of scope out the one that I've been using the most lately. But I actually do have a full stability one. But I really
yours actually edges mine. Yours edges mine in range and stability.
Yep.
Just a little less impact.
Yeah, a little less impact. But this thing just rips. I mean, it is incredibly stable. I have one that I want to see if I can pull it onto my guy here. That I think is I haven't used it as much. See if I actually still have it on here. If I can find it. Maybe I can't. I don't know. Maybe I'm lying. Because I do have some Hawksaws. Like I do have a max stability Hawksaw. But I've never really cared as much for it as the PDXs. Always really liked my PDXs. Am I looking at the right one? I can't seem to find it. Maybe it's on the PS4. Anyhoozle.
My favorite map, though. This is a great
map. This is the one I thought maybe would be... what? See, that's why I think he saw me just a little bit earlier than I saw him. Anyway, you love Trials even though you're not super competitive. No, Trials is a lot of fun. So, I mean... Like for me personally, my very first Trials, I had a buddy of mine. This is before I was even a streamer. It was when he was on Black Shield. So the same map that we're gonna be playing today. And like the one guy, he's like, "You've never played Trials? Well, it's probably not gonna go very well. It's really, it's really sweaty. It's really competitive. You have to really be ready for it." And I was like, all right, let's try it out. Well, for me personally, I find it a lot easier in your smaller team formats because for me, I like to know where everybody's at. Whereas like when you're talking about these big, like what we're playing now, Control, you never really know where people are at from time to time. You kind of have an idea, but like with Trials, at least you kind of know where everybody's at. You can kind of make plans. God damn it. I didn't see what. Speaking of, I didn't know where that guy was. Especially when you're respawning, you kind of lose sight of people. And a lot of people, what I find is they don't know how to control a map as far as, especially in Control, how to keep people in their spawning and not flop spawns. And I would have thought that with all of the people that came from Call of Duty, that people, from playing, the game, similar game types in Call of Duty, that they would kind of understand how to control a map and control a spawns and keep it to your advantage. We kind of ran into that before Monday Night Rare, kind of in the pre-game there, where we just could not get out of our map, get out of our spawn, and we're just getting controlled. Like right now, it's kind of happening where we can't really get out and take control of the map.
Yeah, can't breathe. No, I know what you mean about Trials. I always like to refer to Trials as chess with guns. It's literally just a bunch of set pieces. You're just moving everything around and running strategies to beat the other team.
Yeah.
Trying to get a position on B here.
Yeah, no, it's kind of what we're doing. We got that. Just got mowed down by Doctrine of Passing. I think it's the gun's almost a little silly. Just the fact that it has, I mean, it can spit out so many bullets and have such a small cone of fire, you know, and the range on it's still really high. You know, what do you think about the sniper rifle nerf?
I mean, the nerf as far as ammo goes, I feel like that needed to kind of happen. You know, it kind of puts snipers in their place a little bit. The little bit slower scope time, you know, a lot of people don't even really feel that depending on which scope you were using. And then, you know, people just switch from snapshot over to quick draw or whatever, and they're right back to sniping at the speed that they were used to. So it's not a huge difference. Like I wouldn't say that people are really noticing it that badly, but it's definitely something that, you know, takes into consideration when you are playing like trials, because you do find yourself at ammo more, and you know, it gives other loadouts a chance. You know, it gives people who run sidearms or fusion rifles a chance to actually be competitive and be relevant.
What do you think about the condition that the shotgun is currently in, and at the same time what we're seeing with fusion rifles? Because it seems like I've been getting wrecked by fusion rifles lately.
Oh yeah, if we were on any other map, you'd see me running a fusion rifle in trials right now. But this map is just so sniper. It's not even that this map is sniper dependent. This map is very first pick dependent. Like you have to be the team that kills the other team first, because if you don't, then you're just at an instant disadvantage. But yeah, if we were on any other map, you'd probably see me running a fusion rifle right now. In this corner.
So Sneaky's saying, just in chat, just gonna bring this up. Personally, I've always found that Destiny to be much slower than Call of Duty, so there's less focus on zones between games. I don't know, man.
It is a little bit slower.
Yeah, it's a little bit slower.
I would agree with them. Yeah, to an extent.
Yeah, I mean, god damn it. This is another one of those games where I just cannot seem to make good decisions. I just can't. But
ooh, I'm gonna get sniped at. Ooh, I'm good. But yeah, no, I definitely agree. I mean, Call of Duty was always at a little bit faster pace. You have a little less health. Guns mow you down a little bit quicker, you know. So definitely agree with them in those fronts for sure. But I mean, you know, this game is starting to get a little bit quicker too. Guns are starting to do a little more damage here and there. You know, you're seeing some guns like the Last Word is still, I don't know about you, but I've been mowed down by the Last Word a couple times this weekend at unbelievable range in unbelievable time. Like speed that I would not have expected, especially right off the heels of a nerf of that very gun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You know, I think one of the biggest problems that the Destiny PvP has is just, I think the connection can really determine an outcome in a one-on-one fight, and that's just been my experience. Where like some games, like I can just completely destroy, and you know, no matter who I come up against, and then other times it just seems like they're seeing me just that split second before I'm seeing them, and that's all it takes, and their bullets are hitting me before I even registers on my screen. So I mean, and I think that, you know, I wonder how much that really actually plays into some of the folks that are, you know, some of your top streamers, like if a connection has a lot to do with it, you know, as far as for them, or, you know, how, so, I mean, I've watched some of the streamers, and, you know, that are really good, you know, top notch, and not to detract from their ability by any means, but it seems like I watch and I'm like, you know, some of the plays they're making, like if I was making that same play, I would have got killed just based on, you know, fire, you know, those split second moments. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm really making a whole lot of sense here, but
no, I know exactly what you mean. And I mean, that's an unfortunate thing, that our demographic and what kind of internet providers we have available to us, you know, it's just because we're playing a game that doesn't have dedicated servers. But it's true, you know, games that don't have dedicated servers, those who have the better internet connections are generally the ones who do. They get that slightly better, especially with the new edition of Damage Referee, they get that slightly better latency, and their shots are just registering just a little bit cleaner than yours. And it's hard to counteract that.
Yeah, see, I haven't even noticed. Well, here's my problem with Damage Referees. I haven't seen any real evidence of that damage referee, just for the simple fact that you see red bars that just aren't taking damage, when they should be taking damage, right?
The only time I've ever really noticed it was in like melee. In close proximity, I see damage referee really mess things up for people. Where you're at your absolute, like the two connections are literally in battle with each other, and it's literally just who has the better connection as to who's going to get the kill.
Right.
And yeah, I've definitely seen some weird stuff happen ever since the addition of damage referee. But yeah, it's only been in like close proximity for me anyway. Oh, I pulled the trigger there. But yeah, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, so that's certainly a thing I guess we'll just have to live with, unless they, like you said, they get dedicated servers. You think that's a possibility they'll ever do that? Maybe Destiny 2?
I mean, they made so much money on the first game. I don't see how they don't. You know what I mean? They've got to definitely roll out 2017 Destiny 2 is going to be just like it has to be. They've had a lot of time now. They have a huge captive audience, so it would just be foolish. I think, especially with Activision, having acquired the rights to MLG. They recently acquired those, so Activision being in partnership with Bungie, I can only hope that means there's a future MLG, circuit of some variety for Destiny in store. I mean, it probably won't happen for a while, but just even the fact that it could be a possibility is kind of exciting.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. It's something I hadn't really thought about for a little while, but just that, definitely when I first heard that Activision was buying, that was the first thing that I thought was just that they're going to probably make a push for more competitive PvP in Destiny. And we'll kind of touch on that here in a minute, but Usain Sloth has a question for you. What is your opinion on damage over time?
Ooh, Usain Sloth. I've played that man many a time. How's it going, buddy? What was I going to say? What is my opinion on damage over time? Damage over time would be one of the few things that would have to be addressed if they wanted to make a nice drop on the party crasher, by the way, Evil Laura. But no, what was I gonna say? Yeah, it's one of the things that they'd have to definitely I don't know, fix maybe is the wrong word. I don't know if it could even be present in a competitive environment, because it's it's something that puts the opponent at such a disadvantage for such a long period of time. Like, normally you engage in a one-on-one, let's say you're sniping, you engage in a one-on-one, one person bodies you, you're like, right, okay, so he clearly had the advantage over me, he had a better lane, he had a better sight line, whatever. Now I'm going to drop back, I'm going to wait my 4 seconds, get my health back, and I'm going to pop back out, or I'm going to find a different sight line. Whereas damage over time, they throw a grenade, you're burning for the next 15 seconds. Like, you're literally taken out of the play for the next 15, because your health has to tick all the way down and then stop for a second and then regen all the way back up. So I think that either it needs to be done the same way that Thorn has been done now, where the damage over time ticks faster, so you're taken out of the play for less time, or it just needs to do less damage, because those firebolts are nasty. Like, those things. And I mean, I get that they have to be nasty, because you think about the Sunsinger's super, it's not really a super, it's pretty useless. But I think it's it's something that they definitely need to address for sure.
Okay, so getting back to the whole subject of MLG, what do you think that Bungie needs to do, and Activision for that matter, when it comes to Destiny 2? Assuming that it's going to be a similar game as far as mechanics and whatnot. What do you think that they need to do to take it to that level where we could have? I mean, and not counting, of course, custom games is probably an obvious answer, but dedicated servers. But as far as the game mechanics itself, where do you think Bungie needs to make changes to make it a viable MLG shooter?
I mean, I think they're pretty close. They've now that they've nerfed and they've kind of changed weapons up, it has a lot of the makeup of an MLG game. But you look at like the games that are on MLG circuits right now, you look at like Counter-Strike. They've been around for a lot longer. They've had 15 plus years or whatever to figure out that game and get it to its perfect state that it's in right now. But every single weapon in that game has a chance to one-hit kill someone. You know what I mean? So there's just that level of like complete flat, there's no variations. It's just completely flat. That, I mean, I think Destiny, I don't know if they could ever get to that because there's so many different roles on guns and, different things and so on and so forth. I don't think they could ever quite get it to be the same as that. But I mean, look at like Halo, look at like Call of Duty. Call of Duty, you still get different perks and stuff on guns and stuff and different loadouts, and they still have MLG circuits. But I mean, Halo, I guess everyone's gun's kind of the same to an extent. But
sure.
Yeah, I think that it's definitely possible. It's definitely doable. They'd have to definitely do something about DOT. I think Usain's definitely right. DOT would have to be addressed for sure. That's way up on the list. I mean, they've got some good maps. They've got some good content. They definitely have the potential there for sure. And they've got the fan base. That's the thing that I keep, kind of reiterating to people, is that if you have that fan base, people are going to buy tickets. People are going to go see the show. They're going to go watch, like you would almost, like as far as business goes, because that's what it comes down to, it would almost be insane not to. So I'm having very nightmarish flashbacks of this map right now from the last time we played.
Well, I got my lightning grenade off at least right away, and then this time it didn't do anything. Oh, wow. It didn't seem like it damaged anybody. I got it right where I wanted it, but it didn't. Everybody just kind of avoided it apparently. But what about locking the loadouts to specific loadouts in MLG, or do you think that they should be able to still go in with guns that you've earned?
Yeah, I don't know. They would probably have to lock it in order to make it fair, like in order to make it competitive. And I mean, obviously you'd have to run the same tournament setup: one Warlock, one Hunter, one Titan, and then from there you can obviously have your different subclasses and stuff. But I definitely think that they would have to limit your selection or your choice. They'd have to have maybe like a few varieties for you to pick from, but you'd have to definitely lock in a created base loadout that they have.
What the frick? No wonder. Look what happened. I think that's probably what happened to my lightning grenade again. It went like straight up, hit it into the wall, and it I don't know. That was weird.
I got a Wombo on that side too. Oh, that's a lightning or a trip mine. But yeah, I don't know. I think that MLG is definitely a way that this game could go. It's just exciting. It's an exciting time to be a part of Destiny. It's an exciting time to be a streamer on Destiny. It's just ever growing. DestinyCon is going to be amazing.
Are you going to DestinyCon? I'm assuming you are.
DestinyCon. Yeah, I didn't know about it and didn't go for that reason last year. I would have gone likely otherwise, even though I wasn't streaming, just because it sounded like a good time. But I will be there. I'm volunteering this year.
Yeah, see, I'm definitely going. I would have gone last year too, but again, I just started streaming, and yeah, I didn't really know about it. It would have been great to be there last year, but it sounded like it was, not quite as structured as this one's going to be. It was more just a place to hang out with other streamers and whatnot. So I definitely think this year is going to be a lot of fun. I know some of the stuff that they're already talking about, doing, and like I said, there's a lot of streamers going to be volunteering. It's going to be a chance to really get in there and meet a lot of those people that that we look up to as far as streamers and content creators, not only just Twitch streamers, but also guys like my name is Bife, and see, oh my god, see that's big YouTube guys, also the podcasters and other content creators as well. God dang it, die will you? Oh my god. Oh, we got a red and yellow bar on their team. See, and that's what's annoying that's what kind of annoys me, is that, with how things are, is that the red and the yellow bars, they're at the top of their teams, and it's almost always that way, It almost seems like that way. If there's a red or yellow bar, they're at the top.
Oh, stab him. No, he ran away. Can't believe that dude got away from me. That is
so
insane. But no, I know what you mean for sure. It definitely feels like they have some kind of intrinsic advantage over everyone else.
Yeah, it's definitely, I don't know. So that's what I wish there was something that Bungie could do. I mean, I don't know what they could do. What the simple answer is there. Just because you're at that point, you're kind of punishing people just for being put into a situation where their connection isn't as strong, and so it might not really be anything like that. It might be just something they can't really control. Dang it. God damn it.
I don't know. Yeah, short of adding dedicated servers, I don't know if there's too much that Destiny or like Bungie can do to like as far as tuning goes. I mean, they tried with like CBMM and everything and trying to make it all search based on matchmaking. But at the end of the day, people are playing from all over the world, so
sure
they're gonna run into some difficulties at some point.
Yeah, I mean that's just it. I mean, when if you have like right now, I don't know how many people we have in our specific fire team that are from across the sea. I don't know if we have any, but what? See, like that's another one example where like Titan slams, like everybody can jump away from my Titan slam, but dear Lord, I cannot jump away from a Titan slam. It just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. Simply.
Everything's tethered on top heavy.
It never happens.
But I know, I definitely hear you. I think that one thing for me is that Blade Dance. That's me with Blade Dance. Blade Dance seems to work for Real Crafty and all those other guys, and then I try Blade Dance and I whiff on everything. Like I'm stopping just shy of them like hitting, or the blade hitting them every time, and they'll just finish me with the Doctrine or whatever they're using.
Man, I just ran into the wrong place. It's like I'm just gonna run around the corner and just get this one guy, and then all of a sudden there's two other dudes like hard scoping down the lane, and I'm just dead. Best host? Well, just call me Dino. I'm assuming that's what they try to do is best host. The comment was, why doesn't Destiny just run just like GTA and run best host? And I would hope that that's what they do. And of course we have no way of knowing who the host is. It's like I remember in what game was it? We always kind of knew who the host was going to be. I'm thinking about NHL, the NHL series. It was always the home. I mean, and I don't know if it's the same way now, but it was always the home team's captain was the host. So you could always set it up that they were the best host. Oh my God. Shotguns are so silly. I'm not a big fan of shotguns.
So yeah, they're really powerful. They've been nerfed to an extent now, so they're kind of in a better place.
I think the problem with shotguns is really just the time to kill on some guns. I mean, like sometimes like I could be literally just shotting a dude in the head, just pounding a dude in the head with my Mida, and he'll just run at me and shotgun me. The range is so high that they can still get that shot off. And I've been shotgunned by some silly ranges. I don't know. I think the range on them is. I think that you should have to be within a certain amount for it to be a one-shot kill, maybe a two-shot kill at different distances. But I think their range is still kind of broken. And now with the God damn it!
Oh, that's a Blade Dance.
Yeah, I'm trying to run from him.
I got him.
Aha! That's what I love about Twilight Garrison.
Oh, that's a golden gun.
Oh my God!
I guess this is the portion where we all use our supers.
This is the portion where I smash into that guy with my chest. Ah, so many dudes.
Well, I'm not dead. I'm not dead.
Call of Duty host was always with full bars. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, this has been a problem like for a long time, that host advantage has always been an issue. God damn, I cannot snipe today. Yeah, host advantage is always going to be always has been an issue, and as long as they don't have dedicated servers, it's probably always going to be an issue. And I don't know if there's really any way around it. I know that Call of Duty used to implement what was it called? Lag compensation.
Okay,
yeah. And so, but of course, then you run into issues with people lagging on purpose. Because the lag compensation would, ultimately, fix that problem for a lot of people.
Oh, he's absolute by B.
Yeah, he's gone.
But I was gonna say, yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think that once we get dedicated servers, we won't feel that. No more shotguns. All of the shotguns.
Oh man. All right, Brendan. So let's talk about how can people, the people that want to get in on the get on a trials card with you. What do they need to do, man? What times do you normally run, and how do they go about securing a run with you, sir?
Well, my typical times are about 11 a.m. Eastern. Oh, that's another shotgun. Yep. 11 a.m. Eastern, and I mean that kind of sometimes goes out the window during the weekend on trials. Sometimes I'm up to 6 a.m. helping people. So then to get back on at 11 would be a little difficult. But I definitely try to get on at 11 a.m. Eastern, which is 12 my time because I'm on the eastern coast of Canada. And then. Yeah, honestly, we do a lot of raffles. People who help out the stream and stuff. We definitely have a priority list for those people. We call them VIPs. And anybody that's helped out the stream, people who are long-standing members. If you reach a certain amount of time spent in the stream too, you're able to purchase a VIP run with the points that we have called B coins. And yeah, just in general, just hang out, be amazing, be yourself, and get a free trials run.
Fantastic. We're gonna go ahead and kind of in here and get ready for that trials card. So those guys that were in the fire team, thanks for hanging out and playing with us. Of course, I think Brendan, you're probably discovering how hard it can be sometimes to be distracted and trying to play. I mean, sometimes I can do it. Sometimes I just go on autopilot and go off. But today was not one of those days.
Yeah.
So
it's definitely hard to find that balance. Well, I'm glad we talked without trying to do a card at the same time.
Oh yeah. That wouldn't work. It would just not work because that'd be too fun. I'm too competitive myself to really, for that sort of thing. I would just mainly be focusing, on trying to, make call outs and stuff like that. You're laughing so hard now at chat. Why is that? Just call me Dino. Anyway, we're gonna fly us into the reef. I need to get a card. So
yeah, perfect.
So finishing up here, Brendan. So we talked about a lot. We covered a lot of different topics. Is there anything that that we didn't talk about that you might want to hit up on? Anything you got coming up? As far as for your stream or anything at all, that this would be your chance to get any plugs in.
We've got a lot of new stuff. So the clan that I started, Total Dominance, back in 2008, you'll see a lot of people, approaching the top, anywhere from the top 50 all the way to the top 10 of the world, repping Total Dominance, which is, like I said, it's a 3,000 plus member strong clan that I started back in 2008. And I kind of brought it with me from, game to game. And I've had some really great people, come along, and now brought it to Destiny. I actually brought it to Destiny the day after Destiny came out, and it just started with a little core group of 40 guys and just kind of grew and grew. And I'm sure anyone in your chat can likely attest to having played against people who are Total Dominance members. But we just recently had a move, or a push, I should say, towards the competitive side. So this is more for both ends. People who are looking to get better and people who are already competitive Destiny players themselves. But we now are fortunate enough to have two divisions. We've grown to the extent where we now have two divisions of Total Dominance, where we have a Division 1 and Division 2. Division 1 primarily for the carriers, those competitive streamers and those guys, and then Division 2 for those who are looking to kind of get better and improve. And one plays with two all the time, and tries to help out any way that they can. But we have a lot of things that we do. Every Thursday we have a teamtage that comes out edited by myself. So everyone submits clips all throughout the week.
Sure.
And then every Thursday we have a new team touch. Everyone gets to see their clips kind of highlighted for the team and the world to see. And we've got some other kind of fun things we do. We do raid races and stuff from time to time. We have some good fun with the team. So if anybody's looking for something competitive,
okay, very cool. Sorry, go ahead. Nice, very nice. Okay, so let's get all the links. Just go ahead and name off your links, people, your social media stuff. Go ahead and get that so everybody has that.
Yeah, so it's actually really, really easy. It's BrendenBambi.
Just like everything.
It's BrendenBambi on absolutely everything. Surprisingly, it wasn't taken. But no, BrendenBambi on Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, you name it. You can find me on BrendenBambi, spelled the exact same way as my gamer tag. Funny story as to how I got that nickname, but maybe that's for another time.
Well, no, let's hear it, man. Let's hear it. As we got a couple minutes here while we're getting kind of set up for the trials card. You can go right ahead. Cool.
Yeah. So I was about 14 years old, and because my last name's definitely not Bambi, it's Brendan Saunders. But yeah, Bambi was a nickname given to me. I was 14. I was sitting on a bus, and my friend, I was talking to my friends sitting next to me, but I had friends sitting a few rows behind me, and they were talking about Disney movies, kind of back and forth. And one of them said Bambi. And Bambi, Brendan, I thought he had said my name. So I get up and I turn around. I'm like, what? And he just points and laughs. And is like, Bambi. And he thought it was hilarious. So of course, then every morning I get on the bus, he would call me Bambi. That would be it. Like nobody else would really do it. He was kind of a more popular kid at school, but nobody else would really do it. And it just started to catch on. More and more people started to call me Bambi. I mean, I went to school. I was living in Ireland at the time. So I went to school with 4 other Brendans. So anyone or any way that they could give me a nickname to make me, not be called Brendan, and
sure,
because anytime you say Brendan, 4 people turn around and are like, "What?" So any way that they could kind of identify me was good. So they made Bambi stick, I should say, and then it stuck further in life when I went to make handles and stuff. I was like, yeah, I'll just use my nickname, and it just kind of worked from there.
Fantastic. Well, by the way, one last thing, Binkster wants to know, first night of Destiny Community Con, are we going to go out and have dinner?
Yes, I think that is definitely the plan. That is on the schedule for sure. He still has to let me know which hotel he booked.
What? Okay, I was going to say, well, what hotel did you book? But we don't really need to talk about that during right now. But anyway,
I could Twitch or message you on Twitter.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, thank you so much, Brendan, for being on this edition of Monday Night Rare, getting back into it. Episode number 8. Once again, everybody, make sure you head over to BrendenBambi's channel. Hit him up with a follow. Go over his Twitter. Make sure you hit up that, him a follow there, and all the other social media spaces. Check it all out. I'm sure you can get, if you miss it here, we can have it in the info, for the YouTube video, which I'll be putting up tomorrow. Check out, I'll be posting it up on Twitter tomorrow when I actually post that up. So if you missed any of today's show, make sure you check it out tomorrow on YouTube. So that's it for this week. Thanks again, everybody, for hanging out. Thanks again for BrendenBambi for being our guest. And until next week's Angry Iceberg, saying, we'll catch you later.